All right, and we are back. Welcome back to The Counselor, and I am your host, Sheldon Stovall. So we're going to do a little bit of maintenance today. I want to catch some of you up that weren't here for the inception of the show. The Counselor is a show. I'm obviously a trained counselor, and the purpose of this show is to start reaching out to the community. Quite of us have been shut up in our homes for a long time. Some people are still in their homes to this day due to the COVID scare. And so what we're doing here is that we're working to get you to start back communicating. I know it's hard to believe the mass media. It's hard to believe the news. A lot of us don't know what to believe anymore. So some of the topics that we've talked about, like myths and facts about the coronavirus and the vaccine. There's some other subjects we talked about, Alzheimer's versus dementia, something that goes on in a lot of families and situations where mom or dad are not acting the way that you're used to. And so now you're unfamiliar with what happened. So it's important that you take your time to learn about these things or ask questions. So the counselor, which is myself, and a group of others. There are other counselors on the Counseling Network that you haven't seen, but they're in the background waiting to take your call. If you are looking to get in some type of therapy, they're waiting to take your call. The subject matter that we talk about every day between 10 and 12, it's on YouTube, so it's not like a network. So you can go to the channels anytime you would like and watch the updated. So the point of it being live from 10 to 2 is that I am actually here in the office or available at that time where you can actually ask me questions. And if I can't help you, I will find someone else that will. So today we're going to be talking about the signs that your children are on drugs. And I have quite a bit of experience in the counseling field. I worked in detox. I worked in rehab places. So I've actually been involved in quite a bit to kind of understand these. Most of the kids that come into detox are at 18, starting at 18. We did have a couple 16 and 17-year-olds that somehow got in the door to get the help they needed because their parents were concerned. But it's usually for anyone from 18 and over. So if you are unsure of what's going on with your child, I want you to stay tuned because this is very important. It seems like there's a distraction going on, in my opinion, in this country. Fentanyl is taking quite a bit of our young people out. And when I say out, I mean they're dying at 18 and 19 years old. Also, what they call opiates or opioids. So they're overdosing, meaning there's too much in their system, which is causing a disruption. And most likely they're either on their way dying or they're in a state where they're getting ready to die. They can't come out of their sleep. I'm trying to use layman terms, but they can't come out of their whatever they're under. They're sleeping and you can't wake them up. That's when they're in an overdose state. And so when they're in that situation, what is the question? What do you do? All right. So we're going to go through all that. But what we want to do now is just kind of open up the conversation. So when you see the videos on YouTube, there's two things you can do. You can comment on the bottom. You can ask a question, which I see quite a few are starting to do. You can ask a question and the counselor or someone from the Counselor Network, which are all licensed therapists, will reach out to you and speak with you. You can also call into the studio during the hours of 10 and 12. Get on my calendar if you want to ask me questions about the content of the show. And so ultimately, what we want to do is get you all to start talking and kind of start leading you on where you need to go to get the help you need, whether it's for yourself or for a friend or with someone that you love. So the subject matter for today is substance abuse. I have a lot of experience in this, and I actually have said a few times, I do know the cure for addiction. Now, what a bold statement. What do you mean the cure? There is a cure for addiction. So we want you all to stay tuned, continue watching, speak out and talk, because the only way we're going to know how to help you is to get you to open up and say something. All right. So once you get on my calendar, right, when you call in or you see the number on the screen or the email, you either email or call or write a comment at the bottom of the show that you're watching, and they'll put you on my calendar. So you won't be live at that moment when you call, but you will be put on my schedule. And if there is time between that time and I do have an opening, you are more than welcome to go ahead and join in the conversation. All right. So if anyone is not clear, please let me know. All right. So another thing I just wanted to mention, I'm running low on my copies of Where's the Storehouse. This is a book that I wrote quite a while ago, and it's very appropriate for this time. Quite a people are wrapped up in situations, whether it's religion, where they're in doctrines and they're in organizations that the preacher may not be what he says he is or what she says she is. And Where's the Storehouse really helps you start to identify and recognize if you're in a church or an organization that says they're nonprofit, but they're for profit, meaning it looks like, a church setting. It sounds like it with the good music and the organs and the choir singing, everyone clapping. It looks it, it sounds it, but there's something missing. And what's missing is your knowledge of what you're in. So a lot of people want to sit there and say, who haven't read this, oh, you're against the church. No, I'm not. What I want to do is encourage you to figure out where you're at. And if you need to just pay someone's salary to get up and preach to you for 15 minutes every week and to play one song and, just in a 2-hour offering, if that's what you would like to pay for, then you have every right to do that. But if you're in an organization and they're calling it tithing, which many people believe in, that, they want to give their 10% to God or to the ministry to support the ministry, that's wonderful. And if they're doing that, that's great. But if it's a business organization, it may not turn out the way you think it's going to turn out. And so some of the biggest issues that people have had with me after they've read this, and I'm talking about some of these church leaders, mostly 99% of them were church leaders. Their issue was you can't tell people not to pay tithes. I never told anyone not to pay. What I said in this, which is why I want you to pick up a copy, because based on my experience, if it is a business and you call it tithes, you need to let someone know. You cannot have people assuming that they're coming to your business and it looks like the part, but this is really what we're doing here is that you guys are paying for my maids. You're paying for my daily activities, my expense account, my personal account. We just had another, report coming out. That's a bishop from the AME Zion organization had taken over $14 million from the church and organization. Now, second thing, God will take care of him. We just do what he have to do. So we address that in this as well. We address a lot of the issues, a lot of excuses that you want to tell yourself besides facing the truth. And the fact is, it's okay what you're doing. You're just giving it in the wrong place. So hence, Where's the Storehouse will help you understand what a storehouse is. So when it says bring your tithes into the storehouse, and they say that every week, you're going to know where it is. You're going to know what it looks like. And you're going to know what it sounds like. You're going to smell it. You're going to taste it. And you're going to understand better once you pick up a copy. Now, how do you get a copy? So you can go to www.amazon.com, type in my name, Sheldon Lee Stovall. It'll come up. You can place your order. It'll be there within 2 or 3 business days. Or you can get a signed copy from me. You can pre-order. You can call in to the show, or you can slide up in my DMs. All right. So we just wanted to kind of cover that for you real quick. All right. So this particular subject matter is going to be going for the next month or two, because ultimately this is part of the reason why I've come to this platform, because I want to speak with people who are not understanding what's going on when their children are now getting high. All right. So we're going to talk about that. So some of the signs that your children are on drugs: behavior changes. All right. That attitude was bad before, but now it's nasty. They don't listen. They don't come home. We'll talk about that. The behavior begins to change, right? So if they're high that night, and I have a microphone on, if they're doing some type of narcotic like cocaine or something, you'll see their mouth moving constantly. It's like they're chewing on a piece of copper. All right. That's one of the signs when someone's using some type of cocaine or substance of that nature. Their mouth is constantly moving, right? And they're looking around. Their eyes are everywhere. Signs when your children are on crystal meth. All right. That's a speed. It's speed. So they're moving fast. They're talking fast. You can't get a word in because they're going. They're over here. They're over there. They can't stay still. The more that stuff goes in their system, the longer they will not go to sleep. So you'll start noticing that your child's been up playing video games for 2 and 3 days straight, not eating. And that's the other thing. They're not eating. So a lot of these drugs, they do suppress the appetite. All right. And we're going to get into that when we talk about anorexia a little bit more, because some people who are dealing with, body issues, anorexia, bulimia, their biggest thing is, why don't I just use a little bit of drugs and I'll be better because it won't make me hungry. That's not nourishing your body, but we'll talk about that later. All right. So that's that. If they are on opiates, all right, there's a few signs. And again, I want you guys to comment at the bottom if you have. I don't know everything, but we want to open up this conversation. And if you went through this with your child, and the best thing you can do, and if your child passed, the best thing you can do is help someone else instead of just letting everyone just keep falling off this cliff that seems to be the opiate to drug cliff that everybody just keeps falling off of, one by one, by thousands. I mean, these kids, your generation, some of your fathers or mothers, the generation is getting cut in high school. Did you think that when you had that child that your child would die over an overdose of fentanyl or opiates? Did you think that? And so this is the issue that we're having as counselors, and even with myself. The parents aren't educated. The parents are allowing these things to go on. Oh, I didn't know. No, you didn't watch for the signs. There are signs to addiction, and we're going to go over that as well. So behavior changes. Your child's behavior, they're going to start talking to you any kind of way, talking back, yelling, screaming, because when someone is coming off of opioids, their irritation levels are like through the roof. They're very irritated when they need to use again or when it's wearing out of their body. And the more they use, especially opiates, the more your tolerance starts building, and your body becomes physically dependent. So when the body becomes physically dependent, which the opiates are, and that's heroin, fentanyl, some of them are drinking morphine. I mean, they're doing it all now, sucking fentanyl out of pads, gel pads. I mean, you'd be surprised what some of these, or just putting it up their nose, and more importantly, putting it in their arms. Which, by the way, I do have an issue, a personal issue with an 18, 17, 19-year-old thinking just because you graduated high school that you're now a doctor or a nurse, that you can literally take a needle and put it in your arm or in your friend's arm. Okay? Oh, let me do it for you. You are not qualified. And many of you guys, I understand, a lot of you guys go through a lot of things. I've heard a lot of stories in detox. Because my first question is, why did you start doing this again? And so they'll start telling you, I was at a party, I was at a friend's house, we were all just chilling, and like some of the older guys were there, and they started shooting up, and they were like, you want to try it? So you're telling me you're just going to just look at someone with a needle in their hand with some kind of juice in it, and most of it, when they're doing it, it's blood. So you're going to look at someone shooting blood back in their arm that just came out, and you want to try that? Some of you guys need to start thinking a little bit more. All right. That's ridiculous that you're at 18 years old going to stick a needle directly into your vein. All right. And that's not normally how this thing works. Usually when someone such as that age of 14 or 15 or 16 is introduced to opiates, they might go into their grandma's cabinet, or they might be at a party and they're popping pills. Oh, what are y'all doing? Oh, they'll pop one and try. Ooh, that feels good. And we're going to talk about why that feels good too. All right. That euphoric feeling that comes out after you use a drug or a drug or a substance. So we're going to talk about that. But yes, you were at a party. These are stories I've heard. I was at a party and my friends, they were just, popping pills or whatever. So I did it, we're drinking. Okay, cool. It's not cool, but cool. All right. So why did you do it again? Well, I kind of felt like SHIT. That's what I hear. And so, my friends would give me another one. And so I would feel better. So what do you think is happening when now your body is not feeling better? Because you need an illicit substance that your doctor did not subscribe. So now something's happening to your body. It's changing, right? The way you think is changing because now you need that to feel good every day, especially opiates. All right. So now it went from having fun and having a good time with your friends to now you needing to come up with $5 every day to cover your drug use or drug habit. So at your age of 15, 16, 17, who are you going to go to when you need money? All right. Mom or dad, grandma, grandpa, auntie. You're going to run through the family. So again, behavior changes. All of a sudden they start needing money. They start digging in your purse. When you're not home, you're missing 5, you're missing 10, you're missing 15. Okay. You don't think none of it. Oh, they maybe need something. All of a sudden, your credit card has 2 charges for $100 debits that wasn't there and you didn't do it. Right? Kids are resourceful. They're going to cash app themselves from your credit card. Okay? They're going to do things that's going to cause you to start noticing signs that maybe my kid might be on drugs. But of course, we're not going to ignore it. Oh, they're only 15. They're innocent. No, they're not. They're not innocent. So that's the part that a lot of you parents need to start thinking about. When your children are out late at night and hanging out with friends that you don't recognize, they're not innocent anymore. When they were innocent, they used to let you talk to their friends on the phone. They used to let you see them. That's not happening anymore. Things that you need to think about. All right, so let's go on. Attitude. So that kind of went to behavior changes. Attitude, snapping at somebody. Oh, God, help me. I can't handle it. My child snapped at me. Whoa. Right? So my child snapped at me. You ever see those TikToks and the kid is talking, they'll say the curse word and it's a joke. And then the dad will look and say, what did you just say? And then the kid starts running, right? So they're innocent at that time, right? But at 15 years old, and they say F you, B-I-E, you know what? Some of you might be shocked and say, I'm sorry, what did you call me? Now, some parents, basically, while it's coming out of your mouth, a fist is going straight like a bullet. Now, that's some parents, in some cultures. But some other parents, someone like myself as well, I'm going to sit and get shocked for a minute. Like, what did you just say? And try to figure out what's happening. So attitudes change. All right. unfamiliar friends. So you start having friends. They start having friends around that you don't know or recognize, and you're wondering where these friends have come from. And so that's another sign of addiction, and that your children might be doing some things that they shouldn't be doing when they have unfamiliar friends, older friends, right? So when they have older friends, okay, that you've never seen, your son is 15, your daughter's 16, and they're hanging out with 19-year-olds, picking them up in the car. Think about that for a minute. All right. And start asking questions. All right. Staying out late. For the last time, I'm going to say this because I've said this in so many of my meetings that, for me, it's repetitious, but you guys might have heard this once. Excuse me. For the last time, there is nothing good going out after midnight or at dark, when it's dark. Stores are closed. Places that, they can usually have recreation, those places are closed. So what are they doing late at night? So staying out late is a definite sign. Stealing, right? We're not going to call it stealing because these are our children. Oh, no, my child would never do that. I trust my child implicitly. And you did when it was your child. Now that is someone who is using drugs. So we talk about something called primal survival, where some of the survival techniques kick in. So, yes, so they're stealing. They're reaching in your purse. You're leaving money out like you normally do. You're not paying any attention. And all of a sudden, it's gone. Where did I lose that? I know I had 100 here somewhere. The first thing you're not going to think, why would my child steal from me? They get anything they want. It's not that they're doing something wrong. They're now having to support a habit that they cannot afford. I want some of you older people who've kind of been through this and are familiar with how you started. I want you guys to comment. I want you also to call in. It's very important that you guys start looking back and teaching the young, right? And part of my Cure Addiction, which I'm going to be talking about, is going back to the origin. When did this start happening, and why are you still doing it? I think you guys have heard me mention this a few times, that, you make a decision when you're 15, that should not dictate the rest of your life. And when I work with some of these young people in our substance abuse addiction groups and our online groups, a lot of the older ones, when they start talking about when they started, that's the first thing I say. So basically, you're 35 years old. You shot up for the first time at 21 or 15, and you're still doing it at 35? Are you still getting the same feeling? What is it that has attached you to this decision? Because a lot of this has to do with decision making. And at 15, you don't know enough to make a decision that's going to affect you for the rest of your life. So I want you guys who are listening at the sound of my voice, if you don't feel comfortable talking on camera or over the phone or doing a video chat, lots of guys, I did the child support last week and they refused. They wanted me to get a voice augmentator so that their voice wouldn't be recognized because they were afraid that if their girlfriend or ex-wife heard them, they might take them to court again. So I want some of you that have, are open with what happened to you, and either if you're still struggling or if you want to talk with someone who could be struggling, to reach out and help, please send some comments out for us. Let people read it. We do have people, we have viewers, we have subscribers. You can take a look at the channel. This show is being watched every day. And so I want you guys, and I want to encourage you to open up, because that's what this show is all about. All right. So deleting calls in their phone. So that's another thing. When, usually when someone's on their phone, I'm talking about these fresh relationships too. We're going to be getting into that later. when they're on their phone, when you first, see someone with their phone, like your kids, they show you, this, and they'll show you that. They'll show you different programs and things like that, right? They'll show, look at this on TikTok, right? And their phone's not locked. And all of a sudden, you turn around, they're hiding in their room all day. Can I use your phone for a minute? Why? Why do you want my phone? Why not? I'm paying for it, right? Stand up to it. Find out what's going on. Okay. I'm not saying this is every person who's deleting calls, because we know about that with even other things with relationships, when you got to keep deleting calls, which you're hiding. So when they're deleting calls, there's a reason why they're deleting numbers. Take a picture. Okay. And then don't say anything. Confront it after and say, well, who's this? What do you mean? Oh, that's not my phone. Show them evidence. You have to confront this thing. Because if you don't confront it, you're not going to be able to deal with it when it gets out of hand. All right. And then the other thing is unusual marks on their face and body. Okay. So some of the signs when someone is on crystal meth or tweaking, as they say, is they start picking their face. They're picking their face. They just keep picking it. All of a sudden you see all these scabs growing all around their face. All right. They're picking their face. Part of that. So some people, when they have a tweak or they tweak on whatever drug, they do certain things. Like some people will start feeling the table, feeling around. They don't know why they're doing that. Remember, drugs are a mind-altering substance. So that person is not themselves. Their mind is not at full capacity of what it was prior to them using. So when someone is on drugs and you start seeing things like this and picking, right, their physical appearance starts changing. And we often make a joke about crack couples. And I don't know if anybody ever met or seen a crack couple. But, the guy is walking down the street with his shirt off, and basically his arms about this big and his shoulders are connecting, and then, the girlfriend or whoever, so skinny, the clothes falling off, and they just think they're the cutest things in the world. And we call them crack couples. So when they're getting unusually skinny, and, you seeing a six pack, and then you seeing a rib cage, and then you're seeing their lungs start moving, and you see their liver start shaking, twitching. There's something going on. I don't think that they're just thin. And I'm going to fight that it's anorexia. All right. Because one thing about illicit drugs, you lose a lot of weight. It's taking things out of your body, like the salts and, things like that. Things are coming out of your body because obviously you're putting substances in and causing different reactions. Everyone has different reactions, and we're going to talk about signs of addictions and physical appearance. But I just want to kind of get this going, and I want to encourage you guys to pick up the phone, give us a call. The number is scrolling down on the screen, or you can also email me at promo@thecounselor.live. Please leave a comment, whether you agree with me or not. Do you like the shininess of my forehead? Why do you wear that same jacket every day? I mean, say something. Let us know that you're interested in the content. And more importantly, stay tuned. We'll be right back.